So let me give you the skinny. Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, baby. These ones are mini.
Okay, guys, really quickly before we get going, congratulations on a great week. Really great job on everybody's route. Johnson, are you still taking the shortcut? Because we've been having complaints about you're taking the shortcut back from school.
Yes, I'm taking the shortcut. Yeah.
Because there's a point midway where you have to drop some kids, but you're obsessed with getting there quick, and
I'll tell you what.
We're nobody's getting dropped off midway.
Well, we're doing a vote. We're doing a vote on the bus, and some kids want the shortcut, and some kids want the long cut.
Well, there's more
and the
kids.
vote, and the shortcut wins. I don't know what to say.
There's more kids who are going to the end point than the midpoint, so they're always going to get out.
I didn't understand the problem. I mean, he gets to the other side of the shortcut, and then all the kids' parents are there in their cars to pick him up. His job's done.
Well, but they have to take them back to midpoint.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's still everybody gets where they're supposed to go. I don't think you need to care so much about where we drop the kids off.
Let's be truthful. Let's be truthful
Okay,
about
fine.
the
You
shortcut.
don't know you don't know my route at all. If you want me to be truthful.
Well, Johnson, let me get to this first. How much time does the shortcut actually save? And I want you to be honest with me right now.
It saves 30 seconds and adds a lot of mud.
So see, it adds a lot of mud. The bus is getting bogged down multiple times a week. And I started this meeting by saying, great job, everyone. And that was not what was the case. I have a problem with each of you, each of your routes. But in general, I do say no child died this week. Some kids' backs were hurt.
Clement has a big
Clement, I'm looking at you, Clement.
Okay, I'm just saying this. Speed bumps are optional, even in a bus.
No, they're not.
You want me to save time? Then I got to go fast over every street, no matter how many bumps there is in it.
Well, listen, here's what I will say to that. I want to ask you, it would almost be fine if you weren't slowing down for the bumps, but I've heard reports you're speeding up.
Well, we do a vote on the bus, and the kids decide, do we jump it or do we go slow over it? So the kids say we jump it, so we jump the bumps. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
There's more kids on the bus that have strong backs, and you have a couple of weak backs in there. They have
that sounds like an
scoliosis.
administration problem. Maybe you should maybe you should change the route so the little weak back kids don't got to be on my bus.
Well, here's my thing. If you want the speed bumps to be mandatory, you should make them curbs.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because then they're not
smooth.
What
does that even mean?
You have to stop and slowly four-wheel drive over the curb. The speed bump is almost a ramp begging me to speed up to take a shortcut.
So you want them to be a big rectangle or square, a cement square?
If you want me to stop.
And make the buses four-wheel drive.
Yeah, I think you need to make it so you couldn't clear the speed bumps. If you want us to actually slow down, you make it so we can't clear them.
Yep.
Turtle has had his hand raised politely this whole time. Turtle, what is it?
Have the reports come in if I'm driving on the correct side of the road yet?
Yes, they have, and you're not. There's no reports. There's no official reports. There are sightings, many sightings of bus on the wrong side of the road, the whole route.
And we are certain that that's me because the other two gents here seem to be having some issues. Perhaps they're driving on the wrong side of the road, and I've finally figured it out.
Well, here's what I'll say. And I hate to do this to you, but based on your accent, I feel like it's you because we know the Australians are driving on the left-hand side of the road.
Well,
right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct, mate. But I will say I'm not going to sell out either of these gentlemen because they did help me install a second level to my bus to make it more like it is down under.
Oh, they have double deckers down under? I was not aware that was more an Australian thing. I definitely know it as a British thing, but that could be my problem.
We were British before they sent us over there. We're famously, very famously prisoners of the British that were sent to Australia.
Yes, that's true. Well, here's what I'll say about the top on the bus. It is and I cannot stress this enough, it is not up to code. It is not up to code.
Well, then they need a code. If there ain't a code, how are we supposed to keep something up to code if there ain't even a code that tells us what it should be?
I agree with you. There is no code because it's illegal. It's very illegal. And you got all the kids, of course, want to be on the top, and you're too top heavy. And what happens when you go around the curve, Turtle?
The whole bus flips onto its head, and luckily there's wheels on the top.
Well,
it goes round and round.
They go round and round.
It does start tumbling, and it's somehow supported by wheels. It's kind of this circus contraption that gets out of control and goes through fields and stuff. And I appreciate that you strap the kids in, and they're not even the ones with the hurt back somehow. So we know Clement is really nailing those speed bumps.
Can we talk about the real issue?
Yes.
I think this is good, yeah.
Cliffy, this is just because you can't drive no more.
No.
Yes.
That's all this is. You're jealous of the
is.
drivers now that you're an administrator.
Listen.
Administrative jealousy.
No, listen, that was a tragedy. I looked both ways. I opened up the door and listened for the train. I pull out, we get nailed. Okay? I opened the door and listened for the train. I did everything I was supposed to do.
You did it on the tracks.
But the light was faulty. We know the light in Belleville was faulty. Okay? So, of course, my license was revoked. Luckily, there was nobody in the middle of the bus, clean cut. No one was injured.
Nobody in the middle
of the bus.
The middle is stinky. You had all the people sitting up front, and then you had some kids in the back. And
some
luckily
kids
it was
had pranked me over the week. Some kids had pranked me over the weekend. Put a bunch of dead possums in the middle of the bus. It was still stank, so we had to stack the kids on the end. Luckily,
and
but
you know
it
what a
has
lot of people do not talk about is if your bus hadn't been there, that damsel would have been run over.
Well, see, and I've been appealing this with my damsel defense over and over again. And if we could get the damsel onto the stand, but she is too busy making milk and making butter and all this old-timey shit, and she won't show up to court unless she's forced by gunpoint.
And you have tried to do that, right?
Well, of course.
You became the dastardly villain.
That was just to get her to court, but of course it looks bad when you got the big stash and the hat and you're walking a woman in a white dress down the road to court. And rope.
And you've got a little dog that walks behind you and it laughs at a little hissy laugh.
It laughs, and a lot of people say they call me Yosemite, whatever my first name was.
Cliffy.
Clement said it. Cliffy. Yosemite Cliffy. And that really took off. But luckily, the school let me be administrative, and it's got nothing to do with that, okay?
Okay, well, since all of our backstories are laid, what's the meeting really about? Are we getting in trouble here or not? Because this shortcut, I'm telling you, is saving kids time.
Okay,
and it's gotten to the point where it's getting a bit of crowd. When I bust through the creek and I go down along the creek, back up through the storm drain, and then out the other side, people like it.
Well, listen.
It has been, a bit of crowd has been at Creek for a while now.
Crowd at Creek.
Listen.
It's huge. Look at Facebook.
Just because you are pulling a crowd, and I mean a deep crowd, it is a big, deep crowd. Would they have concessions? Everything is popping off down there at the huge storm drain that the bus goes through and does loops. But I think
it does do
dangerous.
loops. Thank you.
You do loops?
It's like Lake Roosevelt down there. I saw the Girls Gone Wild crew last week.
Oh, yeah.
It has been getting debaucherous in the crowd, and that's a whole other issue because this is a very Christian community. Mm-hmm. And when people are twerking and pushing their nipples together for old VHS cameras, it becomes a problem. But the meeting was I wanted to say we got a little bit of good news. We are getting the raise. We're getting the raise, gentlemen. We're getting the raise.
30-inch buses, 30-inch lifts.
30.
Hey, that's perfect for me.
I love it.
We ain't gonna have no issues with speed bumps no more.
We're getting 30-inch. The school board has agreed to let us lift the buses because there's been so much off-roading going on.
Okay,
And did they pass the tire requisition?
Yes. We got it all. We got it all, boys. We got it all. We got it all,
What are you going
boys.
to call them? What are we going to call them? What are you calling your big bus?
Well, I can't drive anymore, but I would love input on your guys' names for your buses. And
gonna
I'm still
change-
mad, by the way. I'm still upset. But
We
I
noticed
do want...
you obviously wish you were still a bus driver. We noticed you souped up your Cadillac Seville.
Yes, I put some more seats in there, some bench seats with no seat belts.
You obviously wear the little fingerless macrame gloves everywhere you go.
And what do I say when somebody's acting up in the back? I look up in a huge mirror, and what do I say?
Hush.
Hush. I yell hush.
Hey, old dogs can't learn new tricks, man. That one's sticking with you, I bet.
I yell hush. And as soon as my family comes back, there'll be somebody in the Cadillac with me to hush up. But
How's
they are
that coming?
Well, I've tried many times luring them, but they're not responding to any of my bait.
What bait are you using?
Is it emotional bait? Is it closer to like a crawdad or a worm?
Worm? Like, yeah, using a glowworm?
It's shrimp. I saw him. He puts shrimp on a line and he puts it outside the hotel that they're staying at.
And is this fully cooked shrimp? Is this the scampi? What do we eat? Coconut?
It's coconut and scampi and regular fried and tartar
No,
sauce.
not for a freshwater family. No.
I know. Oh, I'm going back to the meat market to get some catfish tomorrow because we're more of a freshwater family. But she says if I don't learn to stop micromanaging
And microwaving.
and micro machining, which, as we know, there's little tiny monster trucks.
Micro-penising.
Micro-penising, of course, which she's always had a
Microblading?
microblading, which is cutting the grass with a really very tiny lawnmower, so you have to make 7,000 trips, and micro dosing off of beer.
And Microsoft?
Dude, you're microdosing off of beer?
Yeah, I have a you know the cap that comes off of a beer? I have one of those every morning,
my
and I'm
God.
microdosed out, and I've never been more chill.
You are fucking crazy off beer.
I'm telling you, you just have to microdose with a little bit of Guinness every morning in a metal top.
Guinness.
Okay, Foster's.
Much better.
You know, I heard that people don't actually drink Foster's in
That's
Australia.
a lie.
They think it's nasty.
No, that's a lie.
I always thought you just used the cans as weights.
Well, no, we started that rumor so people would stop drinking all our Fosters.
So it was a ruse. You're joking.
Yes.
Did you guys
what's
have Foster shortages?
Yes, it was like the potato famine, but with Fosters.
Really? So people were like dying?
Yes, it was like the potato famine. My whole family died in the Foster's famine.
Wow, that's
There's
really
no
hard.
way. There's no way, Turtle. Also, Turtle, please tell us how you got that nickname. You're holding out on us. You're holding out on us.
I think it's
you
posture.
I was going to say, you can look at the dude and you know exactly how he got that name.
Is it because you have a protective shell around your midsection?
A lot of people say posture, a lot of people say protective shell, but you're both way off.
Is it because you hang out with somebody really famous and you're part of their entourage?
Way off.
Is it because you only eat iceberg lettuce?
Way off.
Is it because you're a teenage mutant ninja?
Closer, but pretty far off still.
Is it because you're made of chocolate, pecans, and caramel?
No. Did anyone say that I like to eat iceberg lettuce yet?
Yeah. That's,
Oh, that was the one. Sorry, I missed that one.
Oh, dude. Yeah, well,
Well,
I knew
feel
that.
like you're a walking, talking candy bar too. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, I don't think the most thing that's turtly about you is that you prefer iceberg.
And well, you do hang out with. You're in Dershowitz's entourage, right?
That's right. Me, Dersh, me, Dersh,
Kevin Connolly,
and and drama.
And drama. So the
so
famous
you guys did a one-for-one switch with Vinny Chase and Dershowitz.
Yeah, we upgraded.
Dersh's Vince.
And me,
Oh,
and
you traded him.
Yes, we
So
traded.
is Vince representing criminals?
Yeah, Vince represents Trump and hangs out with perverts and incriminates himself constantly on the news.
Okay. Well, guys, we got the clearance.
Yes!
We got 30 inches of clearance. We getting the big wide tires. We're
Yes.
getting everything we wanted. Okay?
Can
Yeah,
I
what
ask
about-
Clement? Clement, can I ask about your shortcut? I just want to throw a theory out there. I did notice that passes right by your high school sweetheart's house.
No.
You're not just showing off, are you?
What? Modding a truck so that it can do spinnies through the drainage ditch so that it comes out perfectly in front of her backyard where I know she sits every day at 4? No.
Okay.
You sure?
Sounds exactly like that. And I'm not sure spinnies, as most people imagine them with cars, are what you call what you're doing.
What do
these
what
are-
do other people call it?
And you also said truck.
Loop-de-loops.
Let's remember that this is a fully packed bus. Okay?
It's a fully packed bus. I, of course, had to enlarge the drainage ditch, which took some city planning, of course. But now it's big enough to do loop-de-loops.
You
And yeah,
impersonated
sure.
the mayor to get the easement. For
Are we
that
saying that's
hole.
a bad thing? I thought the performance was incredible. That town hall meeting was honestly the most fun that I had in this town in the last 10 years. And I have
Electrifying.
tons of fun around here. So this was like, I was like, wow, that's quite an
Well,
impressive
I think the mayor,
performance.
everybody agrees the mayor's a little bland. So I had to make a couple choices to sort of punch him up a little bit.
Yes.
You know, I had
Okay.
long hair to the floor. I came into Good Golly Miss Molly, of course. And then I just did like a 20-minute dance solo before I got to the first item.
You definitely accentuated some of his characteristics. He, of course, has hair, kind of middle-length hair, so you went to the floor.
Of course.
You heard him listening to Good Golly Miss Molly once, so you danced for 20 minutes to Good Golly Miss Molly.
Yeah, it had to
And
play
it's
5
you know,
times.
it's kind of method,
Is it?
I guess, or
I'll tell you what it was. It was so entertaining that they just handed over the easement, no problem. They signed the paper and handed it to me, and I walked out the door. The next day, I was breaking ground on a giant new fucked up thing for the creek.
that's what was listed in the paper too. Breaking ground on giant new fucked up thing for the creek.
I'll
Which
tell
was
you, if your performance is good enough, people will let you do almost anything. Almost
well,
anything.
there's so many women named Molly in this town that the song really worked.
It really, I mean, you got to play to your audience. You absolutely
Well, I
have
tell
to
you
play
what
to
you
your
need to do, because obviously I want Superintendent Joe to give us a little bit more money for the buses. So if you could dress up like the mayor and sing "Hey Joe" from Jimi Hendrix, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I could probably get a longer wig. Yeah, I could
Probably.
do that.
Oh shit! There's the damsel.
Oh my god.
Hey! Hey! Damsel!
She's not going to testify for you.
Damsel,
Not going
please,
to testify.
please get on the stand for me. I opened the door. I opened the bus door to listen for the train, and I saved your life, damsel. Miss Distress. Miss Distress. Damn.
She doesn't want any part of you, buddy.
I feel like maybe if you'd made any attempt to sort of like get to know her actual name, maybe like didn't just continue to call her damsel in distress. I don't think her last name is Distress. So when you scream out Miss Distress, I don't know if she knows that you're talking to her. I think at this point she's just Mary Simmons. Okay, if you say, maybe it's because you just
Is that
keep
her
going-
name?
Yeah. Have you been looking in the phone book looking for damsel distress?
Yeah, I've been pointing my index finger and going down the page, one page at a time. I didn't even go to the D's. I started in the A's just to make sure they didn't mess up. All the way through the phone book. And we obviously have the biggest phone book in the world here because of a clerical error.
They accidentally didn't do
Right.
the whole town; they did the whole world.
Yeah.
Did the whole world and we printed them.
Which I'm saying this.
Hey,
I kept this phone book. It takes up my whole house.
Yeah. I mean,
I-
I was out of school for 2 years looking up damsel in distress.
You started on the A's and read every A in the world before you got to the D's, and then
Yeah,
you
my
found
hair-
out that's just not her name.
My hair grew out long. My beard grew to the floor. Everybody was like, is that the mayor? I'm like, no. No.
No, I'm just looking for her name in the phone book.
My hair grew out long because I stayed at home for 2 years looking for a name in the phone book.
Well,
Off my back.
my question is: now that we have the lift approved, the new tires
Yes.
approved, I think we should just go for it. I think we should start an after-school monster club. Of course,
Yep.
as soon as we drop the kids off, of course, they're home, whatever. But then we go out to the Costco and do whatever the hell we want.
Okay, well, please, can I be involved in an administrative way? Turtle?
you can set up the Google Calendar for the meetings and
Great. Awesome.
Cones, you can bring cones.
bring the cones.
Hey, Turtle, don't you said you have to go to a stag party, right?
Yes, I have to go to a stag party, which I understand you Americans is what you call bachelor parties.
That's
but we call
right.
them
Yeah, you said
stags.
you're running out to a stag party.
Well,
and
but
stag parties.
In America, there has been some confusion for me. I have ended up at a few horse arounds, I guess is what we call them.
So, what is a stag here in America? A horse?
Everybody puts little party hats on horses and takes pictures with them, and the horses kind of hang out and play pin the tail on a human.
Well, and then at the end, it's a ceremonial insemination, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Turtle. You fuck horses, Turtle.
No.
No.
Oh, you just get them to fuck each other.
That's right. And
Oh,
so
that's my bad.
I'm hoping this one is actually a bachelor party for my my friend Ellen Dershowitz.
So we might see Vinny and Dersh in the same place, putting to rest the old question: are they the same guy?
Yeah, because I always
Everybody
would
in
see
town's
them.
been wondering.
I would always see them and be like, "Is that Dersh?" Anytime I saw him on HBO.
I sat through probably half of Aquaman before I figured out that I was not watching an Alan Dershowitz movie.
So this scene takes place in the world of Entourage, right?
What
Because
about that
Aquaman's
Russian,
real.
What about that Russian P tape we were watching? We thought we were watching Vinny Chase the whole time.
Yes, we thought it
Yeah.
was Vinny Chase and Trump, but it was Dersh and Trump.
Okay. All right, well, guys, that's all I had on the docket. If you guys want to.
Okay,
What
well,
else?
good job, everybody.
Yeah, I think you started the meeting saying good job, then you took it back. All things considered, it does feel like we did do a pretty good job this week. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Have they figured out which one of us three was responsible for the bus-sized hole in the multi-purpose room? Should we address that, or are we tabling that?
So far, they haven't said anything. But
I think because it was
feel
a
like it's
clean
gonna be
shot.
It's going to be coming down the pipeline soon because it is obviously bus shaped. There's yellow paint. There's
Someone left
let me
a
ask,
calling card.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? Would you say busting a hole in the multi-purpose room wall is justified if, say, for example, someone had left their leftover spaghetti that they brought for lunch that day in the refrigerator and left their keys at home?
In
So
the fridge?
Yeah,
Well-
the fridge in a multi-purpose room. Where if that person thought if I put my leftovers in the regular teacher's lounge fridge, they're gonna get eat. So if they put them in the multi-purpose room
No.
fridge and then they left the keys at home, is it justified for them to drive their bus through the wall of the multi-purpose room to get their spaghettis?
Homemade spaghettis or restaurant bought?
Yeah, was this like the
homemade
second
sauce.
meal of Olive Garden?
Homemade sauce,
homemade sauce.
but store-bought pasta. Well, restaurant-bought pasta.
Weird.
The restaurant bought spaghetti, loose spaghetti, kind of congealed.
Like
in a
if say this
tinfoil
person
case.
is scared of cooking spaghetti by themselves, so they go to Olive Garden and say, "Can I get a 1 gallon
So the
Ziploc baggie of
easiest part
spaghetti?"
they won't do, and then they do the hard part at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're saying
Maybe.
that it's not justified to drive the bus through the.
I can bring
the
that
wall.
up. I mean, I can also bring up the fact that there were kids in there that had been kidnapped by a Russian oligarch, which were of course got out.
Yeah, they got out. So that's good. So
I guess if I'm being honest, I'd have to taste the spaghetti.
okay.
Yes. And I also would like to know what oligarch means before I make any judgments.
It's a type of butterfly, right?
Oh, yes. And it turns from a
Caterpillar.
centipeder.
Centipedes.
Oh, sorry, that was the nickname for my dick.
Centimeter.
Sorry, centipeder was my nickname in college. Thanks a lot, Harvard gang. Who am I kidding? I went to community college. I'm always trying to pretend I went to Harvard.
But
Y'all
you
see
did
that
get
sweatshirt?
bullied by Harvard people, right? They went from Harvard to your community college to bully you.
Yeah, the Lampoon showed up, pulled my pants to the ground, and took a picture of my dick, and then hoisted it up in the Landrum Center.
Well, there was a flag for a while, right? There was a flag they flew that was a picture of your centipeder.
Well, yes, and it gained traction, and it was on its way to be the next United States flag.
A lot of people were saluting it.
And people were. I mean, the
Your
national
centipede
anthem.
was in the Skull and Bones.
People had their own salute the flag. What's that called? I pledge of allegiance. To the centipeder. Anyway, it was took years of therapy.
When they saluted your flag, they did the wrestling crotch chop, right? That was it. It was
Yeah,
like
but they would
do
hold their finger up as if to show a centimeter with their thumb and their finger, and then they would slam it. It was devastating, and I, of course, was forced to watch by Vince McMahon.
And you said years of therapy.
Yes, years of therapy. I thought about doing and never did. So I'm still
It would
pretty
take
scarred.
years of therapy, but who's got time for that crap?
I remember you went after your first day of therapy. You posted on Facebook all caps, "I'm cured," and then never went back.
And the crazy thing was, the therapist didn't even show up that day.
Well, if they
I was
don't
just
show
at the
up,
office.
15 minutes, you get to go home.
I get to go home. I went right home. I updated my Facebook status. I'm cured.
Good for you.
World record comments of "No, you aren't."
Guinness's first Facebook record.
Yeah, they changed the algorithm because so many strangers were allowed to comment.
Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, Steve Harvey,
Kevorkian.
Kevorkian.
Yeah, I made the rounds on all the doctor shows, and they of course did a "Here
Well,
it
thank
is"
God Kevorkian
segment.
double booked you. Thank God
Yes.
Kevorkian double booked you.
And his serum didn't take. It just knocked me out for like 2 hours, and then I woke back up.
Big yawn, too, when you woke up.
The craziest, crustiest, spider-filled yawn.
It feels like you did cross over maybe just a little bit.
Well, yes, I am pretty much skin and bones, no internal organs, and I'm talking. But I think that's less crazy than human made out of caramel chocolate and pecans over here to my left.
I agree.
And I'm called Turtle because I like iceberg.
I've never seen you eat a salad. You don't eat vegetables, Turtle. You won't even eat iceberg, and that's basically just water, crispy water.
I stopped because people kept making fun of me because of the nickname. It's not A, that I have a hard shell around my middle, or B, that I'm a caramel crusted pecan chocolate dessert. Physically
only.
Well, what are you two guys made of?
Mostly Coors Light and crispy Cheetos.
Okay, a big talking 4th of July weekend gas station display over here.
And have you guys had these new crispy Cheetos
I
yet?
was going to ask about the crispy Cheetos. So they're not like the Cheetos puffs.
They're not crunchy. They're not crunchy. They're crispy.
It's Cheetos.
These are cooked Cheetos. These are grilled crispy Cheetos.
That is so 4th of July. They got the grill marks on them and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Big stack of Coors.
Thank you.
And I like to think that my parents, they told me I was made of grit and determination, but in reality, I'm made of loose spaghetti and sauce.
Okay, well, see, that makes sense about what you were talking about. So you were trying to save yourself from inside.
It depends. Would it be justified?
Or someone you're in love with.
Would it be justified for somebody who left part of themselves in the refrigerator in the multipurpose room?
More so.
It'd be okay.
What part of themselves?
The most important parts.
But
The feet.
Butt.
The butt and feet.
So your butt and feet.
Listen, well, I'm a bus driver.
two
You gotta
most
have a
important
butt.
parts of the bus driver.
Yeah, the butt and the feet, dude. I'm sitting there on my bus, just like
How
fucking.
can you drive?
You can't drive. I'm sitting there slouched down in my fucking seat, and I can't even hit the pedals with my nubs. So I gotta
Damn.
go back in there to get my spaghetti out of the refrigerator to complete my body. And
Right.
I just listen. I lost my head. I'm admitting it. I'm admitting it here. Okay. I drove the bus through the wall of the multipurpose room because I left my butt and my feet in the refrigerator.
Thank you.
But I gotta give you credit for at least making it a clean through. There's a hole in both walls. It's like a bullet leaving the body. That's
through.
better than the bus being stuck in the
Entry
building.
and an exit wound. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll put the money up to fix it someday.
Someday.
Well,
Yeah, hey,
we can
at
hope
some
for
point in
someday.
the future, we will close the hole in the
Don't worry
gym.
about it.
I
All right,
think
well,
I
let's
just
not
heard
put a date on that.
I just heard the bell ring.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we got like
Oh,
20
shit.
minutes.
So, I guess let's get back out there. I
These
will,
do
of
not have
course,
to end with a pep talk, by the way.
Damsel. What's her name?
Mary Simmons.
Mary Simmons. Miss Simmons. Oh, she's coming. Miss Simmons. Miss Simmons. Miss Simmons. Miss Simmons. Miss Simmons.
Well, that's a skinny on the minute. That's all that I know. You gotta hit the road, but first, pour me a cup of that Joe.
Hey, this is Josh. I'm the producer for the Teachers Lounge. The guys would like to thank Casey Trela for making the amazing theme song for the show. You can check out more of his music at tuftmusic.com. That's TUFT music.com. They also have a bunch of awesome merch available at podswag.com. And if you like the show, make sure to rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Or you can tweet at the guys at Big Grande Tweets. Thanks for listening.